Hello, and welcome to the Recreation Management in Gerontology program information session. My name is Kathy Longo, and I will be running the session for you today. My contact information is available on this first slide, so please jot it down and feel free to email me at any time with any questions you may have after you've watched this session. Here's an agenda of what we're going to cover today. So program overview, the role of the recreation manager, admission requirements, the courses, your field experience, what we're looking for you to be successful in the program, a little bit about the industry, some future study options, how to apply, and then more contact information. Some of you may know our program as the Activation Coordinator Gerontology program. We changed that name in 2020 to Recreation Management in Gerontology. It is the same great program, but with a new name. Part of the reason that we changed the name was because of industry needs and requirements. And so we wanted to have the most up-to-date name for most of the jobs that are out there in the industry right now. Our program was established in 1986, so it is very well known and respected in communities across the GTA and beyond. We have over 300 agency partners where I have placements for students in both first and second year. We have both domestic and international students. This year we have students from around the world in addition from our own Canada. So we have students from the Philippines, we have students from Brazil, India, all over the globe. Students are coming to take this unique diploma that is only available at George Brown College. You will be trained to provide activation or leisure recreation programming for older adults. Our program is only offered full-time and it takes 2 years to complete. There are 4 semesters with school starting in September, generally the Tuesday after the long weekend, until December, and then again January until April. Each semester has 14 weeks, and at the end you will receive an Ontario College diploma. We are based out of the Daphne Cockwell Centre for Health Sciences, which is the beautiful new waterfront campus on Dockside Drive. We take in approximately 80 students, and they're broken up into 2 groups. So you are in class for most of the time with 40 students per group. Our students range widely in age. We've had students that are right out of high school, and we've had students in their 70s. So we have quite a mixture of age ranges of our student. So you might be wondering what a recreation manager is, and I'm hoping by the time you finish this session, you'll have a great understanding. So a recreation manager is responsible for designing, organizing, delivering, and supervising programs specifically to stimulate the interests of the elderly. They need to provide variety, and they have to consider the different domains. So physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, and vocational. We are part of a multidisciplinary team within the agency and the community. This is a program where you use your specialized knowledge to deliver and design meaningful leisure and recreation programs for the older adult. Everybody is talking about the different jobs that are available for working with the older adult. And when you think of a nurse, the job is very clear-cut. A doctor, even a personal support worker. The role of the recreation staff person is to meet the needs that enhance a person's quality of life. You're learning about therapeutic recreational programs that are absolutely necessary for the mental health of the residents and clients that you are servicing. You design and deliver meaningful programs, and those can include things like special events, outings, small and large group activities, as well as one-to-one opportunities for self-expression. In the program, you also learn how to assess client needs and you learn about the most up-to-date industry software that's used for documentation. And this slide just shows you some of the software that you learn about or learn on in our program, the most up-to-date. To come into our program, you need to have an Ontario Secondary School diploma or equivalent with the grade 12 English minimum of 65% to come into the program. If you do not meet that requirement, so non-secondary applicants will also be required to do an English assessment test prior to acceptance, and additional fees will apply. Even if you have your high school diploma, you will have to write an English placement test. So there's a very obvious distinction between the two. The English assessment test is one that you have to pay for, and it is one that few students will have to do, and it's generally for those who do not have, they either don't have the diploma or they don't have a copy of the diploma, or perhaps they're applying as a mature student and they would like to take the English assessment test. The English placement test, however, is very different. I say most students have to do it because it determines whether or not you will go into an English skills class or whether or not you can go right into college English. So you will have to take the placement test. There's no fee for it. And you will take the English placement test to confirm again whether you need to take that extra English class. So if you have any questions around the English placement test, it's something that you would book on our platform called StuView once you've applied to come into the program, and you would book that. This will tell you whether or not you need to take that extra course. It's not to determine whether or not you can come into the program at all. It is purely to determine whether or not you need to take this extra course. So hopefully that's clear. That's an issue that a lot of people sometimes get a little bit confused about. And so that's why I have included the phone number, and that it's the assessment center that you would need to connect with in case you have more questions. And of course, you can email me as well. But again, most students have to write that. The other requirements to come into the program right now are a 2-step TB test, and there's a fee for that. A clear police check for vulnerable persons, and again, there's a fee for that. It needs to be validated every year, and then it is submitted to Paramed. Once you've been accepted into the program, all of the documentation that I've referred to there for these additional mandatory requirements, you will receive documentation that will be mailed to you or emailed to you or both. And we ask you to start that process right away because the process can take anywhere from 10 to 14 weeks, sometimes longer, to complete. So please start those two right away. If you know that you will not receive a clear police check for vulnerable persons, it's really important that you take the time to deal with that issue. You will not be able to do placement in the program without a clear police check for vulnerable persons. So my advice to you is to get that taken care of and apply at a later date until that has been taken care of. It is a mandatory requirement for anybody working with an older adult and a vulnerable person to have that clearance. So if you know you cannot get a clearance, I would suggest you wait to apply. If you would like more information, I have Suzette's contact information as well as a link here where you can find out some more information, and that includes getting some of the forms. But everything that you do for this, you need to do through Suzette. So there is her contact information. If you are an international student and you currently reside overseas, you have to do, in addition to your 2-step TB test and your clear police check for vulnerable persons, you also need to get a study permit, a valid co-op permit, and a medical exam by a panel physician. And there is a link there for some more information for some of the international students. Okay, so this is what your courses will look like once you come into the program. In first year, first semester, you have all of these different classes. You will notice that they are all gerontology based. They are all to help you prepare for your placement and for your work experience once you graduate. In second semester, more programs, more courses, all that are gerontology based. So you'll notice that biology is biology of aging. Fitness and wellness are for the older adult. Management 1 foundation skills are management skills when you're working in long-term care, retirement, in a gerontology population, and you have field practice in there. In second year, your program courses take on more of a management role. It doesn't mean that if you come into this program, if your ambition is to be a manager, the wonderful, wonderful thing about this program is if your ambition is to be a manager, you will absolutely have the knowledge base and the tools provided for you so that you can become a manager down the road. If it's not something that you're interested in your career goals, you never know what might change for you in the future, but it's still good to know more about a leadership role. And so this program offers you that as well. So in second year, your courses are more management focused, but not exclusively. So you're still learning about group process and how to run programs in groups, how to work together with other people. And you're also learning about recreation and new innovations in the therapeutic programming world. Again, you'll have seminar and field where you're out in the industry doing a field practice. And then finally, in year 2, your final semester, again, more management type courses. You're learning about governance and psychogeriatrics, but then we've also thrown in a few more living with dying programs and information about industry resources so that you really have a wonderful, broad, yet very inclusive gerontology knowledge base. So coursework can look like any of the following. So classes, labs, and placement, and they can vary from anywhere from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening. You take 6 to 7 courses per semester, so you have a very full course load. Your field is 8 hours a day, and it's typically a business day. And your classes, like I mentioned, are anywhere from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. So please plan for that. Evaluation comes in all different kinds of formats. So there's group work, there's presentations, you will facilitate programs and demonstrate that you're able to do that. There are individual projects, essays, reflections, and the bonus that you'll get when you come into our program is before you leave at the end of the first year, at least, you will also receive your certification for your food handlers, which is something that the industry has said that graduates need to work in the industry. And you will also receive your Cyber Seniors Mentor badge, which is an amazing, amazing opportunity for you to learn about technology and how to teach seniors about technology. Very fitting in our virtual world. And you will also learn about conducting special events. You also will have a field experience. So your field experience is 2 days a week. So 3 days a week you are in class where you will be taking your courses that we've gone over already. And those are 3 days a week, anywhere from 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock. And then your field experience is 2 days a week in the field placement experience. So your placements can be in a retirement home, in an active living center, in a long-term care facility, an adult day program, in a hospital, and then we also have some very unique placements as well that you'll find out about when you come into the program that are unique for us. We also have the opportunity for on-site experiences in a simulation lab at the beautiful waterfront campus. So field placements vary. So in addition to the 2 days a week that you have placement, you will also have what we call a block placement, where you are going in for a week at a time. So you can get a sense of what's happening in the different areas of your agency on the other days of the week that you would normally not be exposed to. So your field experience is a very valuable way for you to learn and apply everything that you're learning in class to an experience in field practice. It's one of the best things about our program. So to be successful in the program, absolutely need to have a positive attitude and a commitment to working with older adults. You need to demonstrate a commitment to caring, using inclusive approaches and diversity. Creativity, although I can tell you I'm one of the least creative people in the world, and that's where the internet is a fabulous thing. You can, usually find something creative online to help you with that. So you have to be professional, active, and exemplify a positive role model for helping others. And I can't stress enough the personal satisfaction that you do get from making a difference. This is absolutely a field where you feel like you make a difference, where you feel like you're helping others. And our program absolutely attracts individuals who appreciate how important it is to sustain quality of life and help older adults. Strong communication skills are helpful, and a commitment to attend classes in theory and practice experiential learning. It's really important that you are able to commit to attending classes on a regular basis and your field practice on a regular basis. Studies have shown constantly that the students that attend classes all the time do much better. So it is a full-time commitment. Grads work in community settings and institutional settings and always are providing services to seniors, and students are often hired through their field placement. The agencies know you. Like I mentioned earlier, 300 agencies where I have placement opportunities at. They know you can do the job, and they know that our grads come qualified and knowledgeable. And there's a little quote from one of our grads from 2012, who is now a supervisor at an agency and has taken on many of our students since she's graduated and been a wonderful mentor to them. So in case you're not sure, do you want to come into this industry? Is there going to be a job for me? Here are statistics. These are statistics from Statistics Canada. And so it clearly shows that the number of seniors in Canada is growing at an incredible rate. So if you just take a look at the graph, you can see that in a very short period of time, the number of seniors in Canada is doubling. And so it's an excellent opportunity and an excellent time for you to get into the field and make a difference for the aging population. One of the amazing articulation agreements that we have is with Laurentian University. So if you're not sure whether or not you would like to get a degree in gerontology, or if you would like to come to college and get a diploma, you can actually do both through our program. And the amazing thing with this program is there is an incredible fast track opportunity for you through Laurentian. So if you come into our program, in 2 years you will have a diploma, and then in one calendar year plus one extra course, you are able to get a BA in gerontology. Normally, to be able to do that, you would go to Laurentian University for 3 years. So it is an amazing opportunity for you in 3 years and one extra semester to get both a degree and a diploma. To qualify to get into the Laurentian University for this articulation agreement, you need to have a minimum 2.8 grade point average. You absolutely do not need to have a degree to find employment. As I mentioned, our program is unique. It's been around since the 80s, and it's very well recognized. You can do all the documentation, you can do everything that you need, and you get all of the knowledge that you need to find employment. Some people, for their own extra career paths or for their own personal reasons, would also like a degree. So it's a great opportunity for you to have both. So to apply to come into our program, you would go to the link ontariocolleges.ca. I would suggest that you always go to the websites to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information. And the general guidelines, though, for important dates are February the 1st is when a conditional offer can be sent. May the 1st is the deadline to confirm your offer. And then June and July, you get registration packages that will go out that will tell you all about your tuition and your deferral and your payments. There's also a mandatory orientation, which is typically the last Tuesday in August, where all students are asked and expected to come, where you would get your finalized timetable, you would get your finalized book list. It's an opportunity to meet your professors and your fellow classmates. The May 1st deadline to confirm offers is an ideal one. You are welcome to apply after that date, and as long as there are spots available, you can still come into the program. But I highly recommend that you apply as soon as you know you are interested, which is hopefully after this information session. Just a little bit more in terms of contact information. If you are a person who needs more details about accessibility services, I have a link there and a phone number. If you are coming into our program through employment insurance and second career, there's contact information for the second career department at the college. If you need information around OSAP, there's more information for you. And then finally, the last two people for contact information is our program coordinator, who is Pamela Gauchi. Her email is there. And if you have questions just about the admission process in general, if you don't feel like I've covered enough around the admission process, or you just want to check if your application has been received or anything like that, there's Scott's email address as well. That is it for the information session. Hopefully I have answered your questions. I will remind you to apply as soon as possible, to start your police check and your TB testing, two-step TB testing as soon as possible. It is a great, great program. We've had articles featured in the Hamilton Spectator, the Toronto Star about our program in 2021, so I really hope that you will consider our program. It really is a great program when you want to make a difference, when you want to help others. I've gone back a slide so you have Pam's email address in the back, and again, feel free to email me. My contact information was on the first slide, but again, it's kathy.longo@georgebrown.ca. And now I'm losing my voice. Perfect time to end. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful